Kevin was an amazing person. Loving. He would give you the shirt off his back. He would put you up if you didn't have a place. And he would listen, and he would actually hear everything you said. I love the fact that he took care of Leonard as well as he did, and that Leonard got to be in a place safe before Kevin decided to leave. And knowing there are different paths here, I've decided not to say a prayer out loud, but I will ask you guys to say a silent prayer in a moment of silence for Kevin. If you can do that now, that would be wonderful. This is the Hopi prayer. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am thousand winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's light, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet white doves in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I'm not there. I did not die. We come together to pay our respects to the memory of Kevin, whose life was full of love and now is ended when Kevin was called to continue on another spiritual path. Whereas the passing of Kevin has left us deeply saddened, he will be missed but not forgotten. Therefore, be it resolved that we embrace the family to show our support and love to Jacob, who isn't with us today, Kevin's son, because in death, our beloved Kevin, we have a bond that will connect us the rest of our lives. We cannot forget Kevin, but we will show you his love for all. At this time, I would like anyone who would like to say any words, stories, jokes that Kevin told that are kind of clean, to come forward.
Oh, so much for that.
Yeah, I know. PG, I'm sorry.
Kevin was my friend too. He had the religion that I like. God is love, peace, and unity. And it was simple. It's what the mountain required, was a simple faith. And it was good enough for me, and it was good enough for Kevin. I will miss him a lot.
I didn't really know Kevin that well, but I did run into him and Leonard at the Springs, and he took such good care of Leonard. They were really good for each other. And I'm amazed at the things he accomplished. He just accomplished a lot and did a lot of good things. I kept up with things on Facebook while I was gone and got all the info. I just wanted to say he was such a beautiful brother, and he still is. Thank you.
Well, I have a lot of respect for Kevin. You know, working with him, he was one of the few people I've met that is a man of action. Like he doesn't say something and then go back and like, oh, I don't know about that or whatever. He was like, that was his thing. He was like, if something was wrong, if there was something that needed to be made right, like what was happening with Leonard, or it carried through everything. Like he was very compassionate and very, very much interested in seeing the right or the wrong made right. And just even if it was down to the smallest like animal that was suffering. I mean, that's even 2 weeks before he passed. He found a kitten in Calipatria, you know, under an air conditioner. It was abandoned in bad shape, you know, and brought it to our house here. you know, it didn't matter. It was like, you just do what's right. You just have care for every living being, you know. And so, I mean, I just have, like I said, the utmost respect for Kevin. And it was a pleasure to work with him. You know, I know it just, we only had it out like once, and it was no real big deal, but it was always like, everything was like, whatever, above board, and we're always, you know what I'm saying? So, so I appreciate that. You know, he was not about the bullshit, you know, and all that, you know. It's just like, let's do it.
Like a lot of people, my experience of Kevin is that he walked his talk. I know that he has a great history with the Zuni tribe in New Mexico. He learned some truths that he shared with a lot of people from that area. And one of them was to be passionate and excited about the things that you do. I know that there is always a lot of conjecture about what does or doesn't happen when someone passes away. I don't have a comment about that. What I have a comment about is that Kevin did the things that fulfilled him. He inspired other people to fulfill their dreams. He was a huge presence and a person who allowed people to step up and be all of who they are, and didn't get in the way of them stepping forward and being who they are. My husband and I always welcomed Kevin in our camp, and when he came, he always came with his dogs, Chili and Creamy and Gerbil and Walter and Sausage, that's right. And those animals know and love Kevin unconditionally, just like Kevin learned to express his unconditional. Thanks, Kevin. You're a big part of our lives. There'll be a hole there for a while. And thanks all you guys for coming.
I had the opportunity to know Kevin and live in his RV for a number of months. And I had never lived in an RV, and that is an experience I don't think I want to have again. It is a very small space. There's a lot of stuff that we argued about, and you know, it being little bickers, but I'll never forget, we had the worst rains that this place has ever seen a couple years back, and we were stuck in the RV for 10 days straight. We did not leave the RV, and we only left because we ran out of food. So lots of interesting experiences with Kevin, and the thing that I'm going to remember most about him is when I first came here, he was helping Leonard, and Leonard had this phase where he really didn't like Kevin at all, and he didn't want Kevin to do anything. He didn't want Kevin to be involved in Leonard's life whatsoever. And he went off, and Leonard's a nice guy. You all know Leonard too. And he went off, and he said a bunch of stuff this one day, and he called Kevin. He goes, "You know, Kevin, I've met some bums in my life, but you know, you're a high-class bum." And Kevin's reaction was just, I'll never forget Leonard saying that, and then I'll never forget Kevin's reaction. He was just blown away, and he's just like, "What does that even mean?" You know, he was asking me like I knew. And that was the last day they talked for 3 weeks. And every day that they didn't talk, Kevin was so hurt. He was trying to leave. He tried to help still. And there was one thing that he was so consistent about, is he would make me bring Leonard coffee every single morning because he could. And that's just the type of guy Kevin was. I mean, he was there for you, even if you didn't want him. If he saw that you needed help, he would help you. And you could fight him as much as you want, but he would be there. And that's a trait that you don't see in too many people. He knew Leonard more than anybody I think ever has, and was there in an instrumental time. And it's very ironic that as soon as Leonard gets taken care of, and his dog that he was so worried about, you know, up till the end. You know, he was so worried about Leonard and worried about his dog. And as soon as they get taken care of, you know, it was almost like, okay, my job is done. So I know he'll be up there and he'll be resting knowing that, you know, he did a good job and that Leonard's going to be happy the rest of his life thanks to him. And, you know, other people were involved, but if it wasn't for Kevin, it goes back to him doing what he says he was going to do, and he was going to take care of Leonard the rest of Leonard's life, and he did that. So that's how I'm going to.
The privilege of spending a lot of time with Kevin, at least a couple weekends a month, and the ups and downs that we went through with Leonard and AJ and Mike and a lot of other people out here were just mind-boggling. I can't even go into that. I'm only slightly more religious than Kevin was, but I used to call Kevin a godsend. And he hated it when I did that. But when I was here and I had to go back to San Diego, and we didn't have anybody there to stay with Leonard. And helped him. He showed up in early October of 2009, and he brought the experience, the skill set, and more importantly, the temperament to take care of Leonard. And that doesn't just fall out of the sky. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like I say, he didn't appreciate it when I called him a godsend. But I've never called anybody that. But yeah, that's what it was. Man, I wish I had something funny to say. Maybe after a glass of champagne.
There.
But that's really all I can share right now.
I've been coming out here for 4 years, and for the last 2, I've gotten to know Kevin. And if you know anything about our relationship, it was contentious sometimes, to say the least. And we had huge arguments about just everything you can imagine. And at the end of the day, he always welcomed me back. I thought I burned the bridge 5 times, and he always welcomed me back. Because at the end of the day, we knew that we were on the same team. We were on Team Leonard. And I really thought a lot about. Over the years, I've grown to really appreciate him for that. And as Dan pointed out, I had this conversation with Kevin. You're the perfect person with the perfect skill set at the perfect time in the perfect place. And when this is part of our arguments, I said, don't tell me God didn't bring you here to do this. And we went around. I was thinking on the way out here, if you took all of Kevin's best qualities, took all of Leonard's best qualities, you put them together, you'd have a near perfect person. You'd have an effective, focused, enthusiastic, ass-kicking, lovable, spiritual giant who can inspire millions of people. They were the dynamic duo in the end. And I can't help sharing with this conversation I had with Mary, who went to high school with him, and reconnected with him a few weeks ago on Facebook, and they had this conversation. She learned all about Kevin and Leonard and the Salvation Mountain. She told Kevin, she said, Kevin, you're doing the most Christ-like thing I've ever heard anyone ever do. You're giving of your life and all your time, and for nothing, for no profit, for a man this saint who has this incredible ministry. And it made me think, and he argued with her too, and it made me think, in Matthew it says, you'll know them by their fruit. In other words, not your words, not even your actions, but results. God wants results. And Kevin got results. He was a bull in a China store with sharp horns. He was ferocious, and he got results. And he came out here, and he chased away all the tweakers, and he chased away people he thought was exploiting Leonard, and we all respected him for that. I've never met anyone like Kevin or Leonard. They're extraordinary people, and he'd throw something at me right now if he was here. I have to say, he's one of the people who's taught me what it means to be a Christian man. I mean, in James it says, I want you to do 2 things. take care of the orphans and take care of widows. And I have a thing I'm going to tell Jacob later, but widow, the spirit means an elderly person who's single that can't take care of themselves. I'd go on and on about this guy. It's ridiculous, the paradox. He is someone I'll never forget. And that's it. Thank you, Kevin. Rest in peace, my friend.
Kevin and I have had this conversation about his passing before. And Kevin would always say, I just want someone to take a piece of me. If they learn from me anything, take that and pass it on to someone else. So, give what's left of me away. Now that I'm gone, remember me with a smile and laughter. And if you need to cry, cry with your brother or sister who walks in grief beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. There are so many who need so much. I want to leave something much better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known and loved or helped in some special way. Let me live in your heart as well as your mind. You can love me most by letting your love reach out to our loved ones, by embracing them and living in their love. Love does not die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away as best you can. I want to invite everyone to take one of the little bags in the basket. You plant it between now and March, and it will grow a beautiful flower. And Kevin wanted everyone to take something beautiful and plant it and make it grow in their own place. I want to thank everyone for being here and actually being so supportive, because this has been really hard on me. And I didn't think I'd make it through it. But I love Kevin very much. And I'm really going to miss him. So thank you all for coming.
Hi, my name is Kevin Eubank. Some of you folks know me, some don't. I'm the guy that takes care of Leonard Knight. Things are changing. My time here is very limited. Once Leonard is settled, and and I'm sure that he's being properly cared for, then I have to start making my way out of here as well. I will not be staying here to take care of Salvation Mountain. I want to thank everybody for the support that you've shown so far, and the support and love that you've given Leonard over the years. He thanks you for that as well, and he knows that it's there. He feels it. I hope that you will continue to visit Salvation Mountain. I hope you'll continue to feel at home there. And I hope you'll continue to spread Leonard's message of love and, by loving somebody else. Thanks very much.